Cravings. I'm so excited to present to you my newest cookbook, Masaleydaar, Classic Indian Spice Blends. Have you ever wondered about the difference between North Indian flavors and South Indian flavors? Have you sought to learn about Indian flavors and cooking techniques? If so, you are in the right place. Masaleydaar will teach you all of that and more. Masaleydaar has almost 40 different spice blend recipes and more than 100 recipes for you to use them. Masaleydaar has been a passion project of mine. I have been working on collecting pieces and recipes for it for more than 20 years. Masaleydaar explores Indian cuisine through its backbone, through its masalas and spice blends. This is my love letter to the Indian cuisine. I hope you get to use it. I hope you get to fall in love with Indian food the way I have. I hope you enjoyed the recipes to come. If you want more content from Masaleydaar, follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Cravings. A big thanks to Melissa's Produce for sponsoring all the delicious produce you will see in the presentation that follows. I hope you get to enjoy Masaleydaar. Hi, let's make some fantastic dishes from Masaleydaar. We're going to start with a coconut. When you buy coconuts from Melissa's, they'll come like this with a little strap around the middle. So these are scored down here, and this is where you need to work with cutting them or trying to break them. Now, traditionally, there are other tools that we use to break a coconut. I'm going to use a hammer. To get started, you want to make sure that your coconut is damp so that none of the fibers are going into your coconut water. Hold it really nice and tight, like a rugby ball, so if you're holding it upside down, it shouldn't fall. Now turn it so that you have an angle on here that angles with your hand, and get cracking. And you try and pry it open so that you grab some of this water. Now this water is completely edible and is fresh coconut water, so save it and use it when you want to feel refreshed and rehydrated. A good fresh coconut will have about a cup or so of clean coconut water. So now that there isn't any more water in here, I'm going to smash it a little bit up. And after a few tries, the coconut cracks open. So this flesh is what we're going to use in a few of the dishes, and I'll show you how to use those. You want to make sure that you can pry this flesh out. Let me do that. You pry it out and use a vegetable peeler and quite literally just peel this back portion out. And once you get the peel out, you put this into a blender and use it to make your freshly grated coconut. Easy peasy. Fresh coconut. We're going to use the fresh coconut in a stuffed baby eggplant dish, so stick around for that one. Masaleydaar has many dishes that use a range of different kinds of spices. This dish uses whole spice blends. This blend is called Panchforan. Panchforan includes 5 essential spices that are favored in West Bengal. This includes mustard seeds, nigella seeds, fenugreek, fennel, and cumin seeds. These form the essential 5. Now, there are a couple different variations. Some regions will add either black sesame seeds and swap out one of the spices that they don't care for or care less for, and the option of adding poppy seeds. Now, poppy seeds are really nice and nutty for this dish. So you choose what you want, but you want equal portions of all of these spices. 5 of them for Panchforan. This dish is made in mustard oil. Mustard oil is a regional favorite. If you are averse to using mustard oil, can't find it, what have you, use another cooking oil as part of your recipe. So let's get started. I have a large saucepan. Start with a little splash of mustard oil. And while this is warming up, I'm going to literally take a pinch each of black mustard seeds, cumin seeds, some nigella, some fenugreek seeds, and some fennel. This is my spice blend. The oil is warm enough. I'm going to add them in, sprinkle them into the pot, and let that simmer for a second. The oil is starting to get nice and aromatic from all the spices that are in here. You want to move them a little bit so they start seasoning the oil a little more. Don't wait too long because the fennel might burn. It's nice and fragrant. I'm going to toss in the sugar snap peas. 2 more ingredients and this dish will be done. Stir it till all the sugar snap peas are coated in the oil and the spices. Give it a little sprinkle of lemon juice or lime juice to brighten up the flavors. A pinch of salt. Stir that again. You can tell the aromas of the bundt are filling up the air. This is an easy dish that anyone can put together. I have some cilantro that I'm going to chop up real quick and add that in. And before you know it, the dish is ready. You can use the same recipe to work with potatoes, mushrooms, any of your favorite vegetables, but I'll tell you, this spice blend is particularly easy to use on all kinds of vegetables that require a very short cooking time. So I hope you try this out. Sugar snap peas with punch foreman from Masaleydaar. The next masala I want to show you is one of my favorite masalas from Masaleydaar. It is called a Manure Bundt masala. This masala is particularly fragrant, but it also packs a nice bit of heat and some nuttiness. We have some black pepper, turmeric, cumin seeds, fenugreek seeds, whole coriander, chilies, sliced fresh garlic, and roasted and skinned peanuts. Many of the blends in Masaleydaar include a range of different kinds of chilies and dried chilies. This one uses baby chili. It looks like this. It's very wrinkled and crinkled, but this is a very stable red chili used across most of India. What you want to do is take the top off, use a scissor, slice it down the side, and take the seeds out, and use those when you are making your masala. So let me show you how to make bundt masala. For this, I'm going to start a little pan with some ghee, and we're going to roast and fry up the garlic, the peanuts, the whole coriander seeds, and I'm going to toss these and make sure that they are well covered in the ghee. The ghee looks fairly absorbed into all of these spices, so I'm going to take this out into my spice mill. This is what this looks like. And now for the remaining. So we're going to toast some cumin seeds, some mustard seeds, the black pepper, the de-seeded and the stem removed chilies. These look fairly toasty, so I'm going to take this off the heat and very carefully add it into my spice mill. This is what bundt masala looks like before it is made into a powder. Now you're going to wonder if I forgot the turmeric. I didn't. I saved the turmeric for the last bit because it doesn't need to be roasted, it doesn't need anything, it's already in powder form, and you can wait to add the turmeric to the very end. And you need barely a little bit. This is going to get blended and pulverized into bundt masala. This, my friends, is a Manure Bundt masala. So we're going to use the bundt masala in okra and little baby eggplants. Hang in there, I'm going to show you how to make it. Let's make my husband's favorite dish from Masaleydaar, okra in Manure Bundt masala. For this, you're going to need fresh okra. And how to prep it: you slice off the top, slice off the bottom, and then you cut it into quarters like this. About half the quantity of my okra, I'll use shallots, a heaping tablespoon of the Manure Bundt masala, some lemon and salt, and some ghee. And believe me, this is one of the easiest ways to prep up okra. Okra in Manure Bundt masala comes together very quickly. For this, you're going to need okra, shallots, the Manure Bundt masala, some lemon, salt, and ghee. And you start this without actually starting up your pan. So what you're going to do is add your okra to your large pan. Be sure to use a large enough pan so that you can toss things well. Add the shallots, and to this you're going to add a heaped tablespoon of the Bundt masala. You want to toss this really well so that the spices are well distributed. And this is not even started cooking yet. I'm going to dust this with some salt. Add a good squeeze of lime and toss everything again. So I've started the stove on high and I'm going to make a little spot in the middle of the pan. Now remember, the Bundt masala already has a little bit of ghee, so I am going to add just a small bit more, about a teaspoon or so. And to help the ghee move along, I'm going to add a little dab of oil. You can use whichever oil you like and get this oil and ghee mixture melted in the pan. And once it has melted, you stir it around, and this is going to get covered and will cook for about 10 minutes on very low heat, and that's all there is to this recipe. I told you this was a simple one. This, my friends, is ready. The stove is still hot, so it's still cooking a little bit, but I'm moving it over. But you've got bits of okra that are slightly charred, and they're really tasty, and they become sweeter. The onions have a nice caramel taste, and of course the Bundt masala is carrying all of this through. This dish is going to be nutty. It's easy to put together. Definitely try this out for a very quick way to work with okra. So here you go. This is okra in Bundt masala. Okra in Manure Bundt masala. What else can you make with the Manure Bundt masala? I'm going to show you a very classic dish that uses baby eggplant. All across India, you're going to find different versions of a stuffed baby eggplant. This one uses the Manure Bundt masala. You need some fresh coconut, the Manure Bundt masala, and a little extra peanuts. Now, these are just going to get blended together with a little bit of water, just a spot so that it spins around and it makes a little paste. The stuffing for the baby eggplants come together very easily. Let me toss this into a blender jar. Break off your coconut pieces so they spin well. Roasted peanuts and about 2.5 to 3 tablespoons of the Manure Bundt masala. Look at that. When you go to the grocery store, or if you're purchasing them from Melissa's, you'll get baby eggplants that look like this. They are perfect for this dish because they cook really fast. So here's what I did. I took those baby eggplants and I trimmed the top away, and then I scored them down the middle into quarts. Not all the way through so that they're still whole. Then I left them soaking in salt water for about half hour. First of all, I took some of the bitterness away, so the water has a little brown tinge to it. It also kind of opened the eggplant up so that the stuffing can go in. I'm going to add the stuffing mix. Now, if I have a lot of time, I would normally sit down and actually try to get some of the stuffing into all the crevices of the eggplant. But in the interest of time, I'm going to add this straight into this pan and stir it around. Stir it well so that all of the eggplants is covered in the stuffing mix and the sauce, and it has an opportunity to go in. Now, I have prepped the stuffing, I've prepped the baby eggplants, and they're waiting for me. The rest is making the sauce that goes with the remainder of the dish. All right, for the ingredients, I have some cumin seeds, chopped and diced red onions, ginger garlic paste, there is turmeric, there is chili powder, curry leaves, essential to this dish, and a tamarind concentrate. All right, let's get this recipe going. Start a large pan with a cooking oil of your choice. So I'm going to dust in some cumin seeds, and these are the black cumin seeds. They're already popping, so I'm going to add in the diced red onions. Give this a good stir so that it's coated in the spices and the oil. We're going to add in about 2 tablespoons of the ginger garlic paste. straight in, stir that around, an entire sprig of curry leaves, straight into the pan. And now comes some of the powdered spices. But you just need a little turmeric. And based on how spicy your Bundt masala is, base the chili powder on that. I'm going to just add a little bit of chili powder into this, dust that in, stir this around, add all of these in here. Add in some salt to taste, of course. About a teaspoon of the tamarind concentrate. Add it directly into the pot. Stir that in. I'm going to cover this and let it cook for about 15 minutes on medium-high until it is tender. Be sure to check on it every now and then. Make sure that the sauce is not getting completely dried up and it's not getting too thick. The baby eggplant has been simmering for about 8 minutes, and let's look at this. Oh my gosh. We're gonna take this out in this beautiful bowl. Let's see how this looks. Stuffed baby eggplants in Manure Bundt masala. The next dish we're making is salmon with Kashanti. Kashanti is a hidden gem from West Bengal. It's a paste made with mustard seeds and mustard oil. Red chilies are added to it, and you blend the whole thing. In my recipe, I add a little bit of vinegar to add a little sour taste, and I also double it up with fresh raw mango. This recipe is super easy. Once you make Kashanti, you'll want to use it on everything. It is creamy, not quite spreadable. You want to be sure that when you're making the Kashanti, it doesn't become bitter, so you don't want to blend it too much. For my recipe, I'm using frozen salmon. I rinsed it out and patted it dry. Use this paste directly onto my fish. You can use a little bit of mustard oil to start this dish if you like, but if you don't want to, that's fine too. My pan is fairly hot. I'm going to straight down into the pan to sear. Another piece. And I'm pushing down to make sure that the fish, all the pieces of the fish actually get the heat and it's not uneven. I'm going to turn this to low and let it cook for a few minutes on low heat. It's been about a minute and a half, and I don't want the salmon to burn, so I'm going to add a little bit of mustard oil, and I'm going to let this cook for another minute, and then I'm going to turn it over. Very carefully, I'm going to turn it over, and you can see that the Kashanti has nicely seared into the flesh. And I'm going to move the fish to one side. This is where I like to kind of make this a one-pot dish. These are a batch of baby Dutch yellow potatoes from Melissa's. These have been cooked thoroughly. They still have the skin on. They make a great addition to this dish. So add them straight to the pan. And just for a little extra character, I'm going to add some poppy seeds to it. You'll be surprised what the difference does. A little bit of poppy seeds makes to this. The potatoes, they don't need a whole ton of time, but the fish needs to cook, so you want to make sure that everything cooks together. So I'm going to wait on this for probably about a minute and a half more. The salmon looks almost done, so I'm going to check on it, and I have a handful of freshly chopped cilantro leaves. Oh, this is pretty. And it is so fragrant. The Kashanti is really the magic trick here. Kashanti crusted salmon with some potatoes. This is going to make everyone in your home happy. Enjoy. The next one we're going to make is chaat masala. Chaat masala is a versatile spice blend that is used in everything from fruit chaat to some of the chutneys that are there in Masaleydaar. So let me show you the ingredients for how to make chaat masala. When you're making chaat masala, you want to balance out the warm flavors with the nutty and the spicy and the tangy flavors. So in Masaleydaar, I have a recipe for a Konkani style chaat masala. I'm going to show you a few adjustments here and there in case you aren't able to find all the ingredients, but believe me, if you make this chaat masala once, you're going to want to make it more and more times. For this, you have the warm component, black pepper, whole coriander seeds, cumin seeds, fennel seeds, a knob or two of dried ginger, dried mint, Himalayan pink salt. Last but not least, I'm going to include some Sichuan peppers. Now, traditionally, I like to use teppan peppers or dippo peppers, but these ones are easier to find in the marketplace. So, let's get started. I have a small saucepan that started up, that's warming. It is dry, there is no oil in here. For this recipe, you don't need any oil. You're going to want to toast all of your spices. So in go the black pepper, coriander seeds, cumin seeds, fennel. Not all of these, but a little pinch of the Sichuan peppers or the dippo peppers if you find them. Now I'm going to dry roast this. These spices have been toasting for a little bit, so I'm going to set this aside. And to finish it off, you need to add a little pinch of your Himalayan pink salt and some dried mango powder. Now, dried mango powder is going to add the nice tanginess to it, but you don't really need to toast it, so you can wait for it till the end. I'm going to add that in, dust that in, and a little knob of dried ginger. Now, this is getting added into a little spice mill. An essential part in Masaleydaar is having a dedicated spice mill that's going to help you with your spices. This is actually a little coffee grinder, and I like it because it's not only tiny and fits in all little corners of my kitchen, but I can actually take this out and dishwash this, which is a great thing to have when you're making all kinds of masalas and you don't want the flavors to mix in. Also, the steel jar is nice so that the jar doesn't get scratched when you're grinding these. Add it into the jar, and this is what it looks like inside the jar. When you get done grinding, do not be tempted to open it right away. All the spices are going to get in and find all your sinuses, so hang in there. What you're going to do is tap the top, make sure all the dust in there settles, and very carefully jiggle it around and open it, and then you can take a whiff. Oh my god. This is freshly made chaat masala. Chaat masala and fresh fruits like pineapple are a match made in heaven. So let me show you how to prep a fresh pineapple and dust it with chaat masala. Let's prep some pineapple. Now, pineapple looks very intimidating, and for the longest time I was really afraid to work with this, but it's one of the easiest fruits to purchase and enjoy. So what you want to look for is a nice fragrant pineapple that doesn't have any soft spots, which this one is perfect. And I'm sniffing it to make sure it's sweet. I bet it's going to taste good. You want to have a large chopping board. And first things first, trim off the top. You want a good sharp knife. The top comes off. And you want to trim the bottom too. Beautiful. Set this down on your chopping board and then just go around the pineapple. So you have a trimmed pineapple. Now, I like to go real simple on this one. Cut it down the middle. And you see this inside portion. Now this portion is really hard on your mouth, so I like to take it out, but there's an easy way to do it. So you cut it into another quarter, and then quite literally take this corner off. You want to be careful because the pineapple can be a little bit slippery. Take this portion out. So our one pineapple is now 4 large chunks. these pieces into an inch or about 3/4 of an inch because they make for a nice substantial bite. This is our freshly cut pineapple and the freshly made chaat masala. Take this and dust it over your pineapple. You don't need to do a whole lot. You want some of the masala to be on there. You want some pieces of your pineapple to not have any masala, just so that there is a little bit textural and flavor complexity. I like to dress it up with some fresh mint. The mint mimics the dried mint that's in the chaat masala. Doesn't this look great? This is fresh pineapple with some chaat masala. I'm going to dig in. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation, and I hope you get to enjoy more recipes from Masaleydaar. Thanks again to Melissa's Produce for sponsoring this presentation. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram to stay connected with everything that is Masaleydaar. And as I like to say, cook, eat, adapt, and repeat.